What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. So guys, we have the video I have been hyping up for so long. We finally have our transmission. So I am extremely excited for this. So this is a 47RH, and you can see this thing looks like it's been used a little bit, but don't worry, the internals are all good. It's been checked by a tranny shop. Everything's good, so don't worry about that. That's just exterior. The internals are all good. Here's a torque converter, triple disc torque converter. Yeah, probably can't see anything in there. What that would say anything anyhow. So here is our new torque converter bolts. We got our backing plate over here that we painted all up. Got to take the die grinder and clean up all the surfaces. Take a wire wheel, clean up all the mating surfaces where it mates to the back of the motor. Then over here we have our Firepunk Flexplate. So it is an SFI certified flex plate. So it's heavy duty. I mean, you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's pretty thick. It is a real thick, heavy flex plate. So, and then we also have our electronics, which I do not have with me right now. Those are in the office. This is one extremely beefy torque converter. Let me pull it out of the package, out of the box. Oh man, this thing weighs like 100 pounds. So here, you can see this thing is mean. Yeah, I mean, it is one mean, bad torque converter. So that's the torque converter. The transmission has a billet input shaft, all upgraded clutches, all that fancy stuff. It's like 550, 600 horse. So I have been working on the transmission a little bit, haven't gotten too far. Got our drive shaft out, gotta take that over to the machine shop and get it shortened. But up here, well, let me get a light so you guys can see better. But up here, got our fluid lines to take off. We got all of our electrical, all our wires disconnected. This thing only has like 3 wires. Got 2. See if I can hold the light and show you guys. Okay, so we got this clips right on to that ball right there. Then this piece clips right into this right here. Just take a screwdriver, pop those out. There's 2 up here. There's 2 bolts that hold. And this camera's having a really bad time focusing. 2 that hold this bracket up there. There's 1 more bolt right there that we need to pull out. Then all that bracketry will hang down. Then we just need a drop over here. Oh, you probably can't see it. Well, up in there, we need to pull that plug, spin the torque converter over to get all the bolts pulled out of that. Get our tranny jack underneath here, pull our cross member, and then pull all the bell housing bolts out. And that's pretty much a wrap on how to pull the transmission. I mean, they're very simple to pull. Alrighty guys, so we have been working on this thing for a little bit now. As you can see here, I have the transmission out completely. This is the old one. There's a new one over there. So this thing came out very easy. Let me go over to the truck and show you guys. Well, actually, I have everything pulled out of the truck. We're ready to go back together with all of our new stuff. Whoops, I did change our rear main seal as it was leaking a bit. Got all the surfaces cleaned up. Got the backing plate off. And the starter, I'm going to need a starter off of a 2nd gen Dodge because the bolt pattern is different. So it looks fairly close. We've got this one backing plate all cleaned up and painted. There's our old one, as you can see here. Let me get them side by side here. You can see there's a substantial difference. This one is an inch thinner than this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this backing plate on. We're going to keep on with everything. In the morning, Napa is closed, it's late. In the morning, I will get another starter for this thing. I don't want to really put a Napa one on this one, but it's all we got for now. So we're going to continue on. Pulling it out was not that hard. I mean, pulling a transmission, just had, like I mentioned earlier, you had to pull all the linkage off. Once that was out of the way, it was just it was a cross member, had to pull the cross member out. Torque converter bolts had to come out. Very self-explanatory. Let me show you over here. Up on the front, you had to go up through the front, and well, you can't see it now, but you had to reach a socket with a ratchet with a long extension and a socket up through here beside the motor and go back in and pop all the bolts loose. So that was easy enough. We're gonna have to figure out something with our bracket mount. Cross member goes right here, as you can see, and it's with the backing plate being thicker, it's gonna set us back a bit. So we're gonna have to figure out something with that. So it's a work in progress. It's not a quick and easy job, just to pull the old one out, throw the new one in type of job. So we are going to put our new backing plate on, torque everything down to spec. And here's another thing. Here's the old flex plate. As you can see, it's pretty thin. Has a lot of holes in it. This Firepunk flex plate does not have near as many holes in it, and it is quite a bit thicker. So we're gonna get everything thrown in there. We're gonna get as far as we can this evening, and then pick us up a starter in the morning. Our drive shaft should be done. We have that at the machine shop. So yeah, just a bunch of little stuff here and there that we need to figure out. So it's one of those jobs. It just takes a lot of just little things. If it was just a bunch of big stuff, it'd be real easy. So yeah. So guys, we get this adapter plate in here, and we have a problem. You can see, well, I'm gonna be covering up this light. Okay, so my hole, you may not be able to see it, but this hole right here does not line up, and this hole right here does not line up. So we're fighting it, trying to figure out what's going on, because nobody else is having this problem. And we come to find out that this is an adapter plate off of a common rail truck. So this one is off of like an 03 to 07 Cummins. So we got sent the wrong one. We need to send it back and get the right one. So we are going to, this project's going to be delayed a couple days, probably 2-3 days, but it will not matter to you guys, because you guys will see everything in the same video. So I will catch up with you guys once we have the right one. So guys, now 3 days later, we finally have our right backing plate, or adapter plate, sorry, for the 47 swap in the first gen. So here I have the right one and the wrong one. Now let me show you guys this real quick, what the difference is on these. Just from the, I mean, I showed you already, but here, see how there's a bolt right there and then the bolt up here? Now look, if you look at this one, it has a plug right there, and the bolt is down here, and then a bolt up there. So those bolts are almost across from each other. This one has a bolt up there, and then this one's down across on the bottom of this hole here. And this one has a plug in that hole, and just a plate that covers this hole. So that is the main difference. The other difference is that on the common rails there's an O-ring right in there, and on the first and second gens there is no O-ring there. And then this bolt hole here sits right in the corner, almost 90 degrees if you would draw a line straight down from here to the bottom, almost 90 degrees over. This one is down quite a bit farther. So if you look at that, then look at this. So in a sense, this was probably a good thing. That way, now that if you guys decide to do this in your first gen, that way you know that there is a difference between the 03 to 07. I believe that is an 03 to 07. I could be wrong. I know it's a common rail for sure. I'm not exactly sure on the exact year range, but the only one that will work to do a 47 swap properly is the one off of a 94 to 98 Dodge. This one is actually off of a 97. So any of the P-pump trucks, I know for sure. I mean, maybe the 98 to 02 24 valves will work too. I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that the P-pump ones work. So as you can see, this one is the thick one too. And as pretty as I have that one painted, we do not have time to paint this one. So I'm just going to clean it up as best as I can, clean up the mating surface good, and we're going to throw it in. Just make it look as good as we can without any paint. So we don't have time. We got to get this done. Got to raise the truck back in the air, get underneath there. I'm going to get all the torque specs. I will put the torque specs down in the description and on the screen right here too once we get to that part, and I will show you. I will put you guys on fast forward when I do that. So let's go. Alrighty guys, so about 3 hours later, we have, let me get back here, we have the transmission in, we have our drive shaft in, got our rear U-joint changed, swapped it out for a new one because it was a little rough. You can see there's where it was shortened, trying to shine up here, show you guys. Got our cross member in, you can see there, we got new bolts in, we had to, it sits back almost exactly an inch from the old, from its old position, so we had to drill new holes, both sides. See down there, well, kinda. On the, let me go to the outside so you can see better. We need to put, whoops, focus. We need to put our last bolt in there. You can see the back bolt is in. It is about an inch back from where it was. Like I said, front bolt still needs to go in. Got everything else wrapped up, got all the lines connected. Just got to hook up my controller. I'm tripping all over stuff down here. Just got to hook up my controller. This line right here, right there, that's the old transmission control line, or wire I should say. Got all the linkage. It didn't have to do anything special on the linkage. It is a little bit, like you can see there, that zip tie's in the way, but you can see it's cocked just a little bit. But old starter in, I can only get 2 bolts in, but we do have the old starter in yet. So got a few loose ends to tie up, and I will catch up with you guys once we have the fluid in, and we're ready to start it, once we have the controller all hooked up and everything like that. So I'll give you guys a very in-depth overview of everything, some driving around footage and everything once this truck is ready to rip. So guys, I have gotten everything wrapped up on the first gen. 47RH is a complete success. Anyone that's wanting to do this, go for it. I mean, you will not be disappointed. Especially mine is heavy built. It's got all the, it's the triple disc torque converter. It's got all upgraded clutches, everything for 500 horsepower plus. So under the hood here, kind of poor lighting, but right here we got our controller all wired in. We had to splice, well, let me grab a light so I can show you guys a little bit better. So right here you can see there's the TPS sensor. We had to splice the wiring from our Compushift controller for the transmission into that to work that. But now my cruise does not work, so we're gonna have to figure that out, and I will in my next video. Hopefully I'll have everything wrapped up complete. I mean, this thing drives great. I have it wrapped up from the point that I can drive it, and everything's fine from that point, but there's just a few loose ends, like the speedometer, well, I'll show you that, but inside the cab here, I just have my controller hanging right there for now. These wires right here are wires that would light up a LED light, like to tell you when lockup is on, when it's off. I'm gonna run those wires. I'm gonna mount this somewhere. Mount the controller probably just up here on the dash or something like that. But yeah, wires are not completely everything that you can see. Wires are just kind of hanging out right now. I'm going to clean everything up, get everything buttoned up. Like I was saying earlier, speedometer on the vehicle does not work. It does work on the controller though, so you can watch your speed off of that. Or if you have like a GPS on your phone, that works great too. So yeah, so you have to wire in to the top on your TPS sensor. Also, a big thing. Here is the kickdown cable bracket on the transmission from the 47RH. We did have to swap out to the 518 old one. I'll throw a picture up on the screen of the different ones right now. But this is the one off the 47RH. As you can see, I have the 518 one installed on the truck right now. But you can see this one. that slot is a little different, and the overall length is a little shorter, so that was running into problems. It was wanting to kick down every time I would come into the throttle, even at 1/8 of a throttle. So we had to go swap that out. Now it drives great. We've got all our lockup figured out on our controller. I'm just going to turn the key on real quick here and show you guys the controller. Alrighty. So there it says speed. You just hit enter. Then it shows your mile an hour. Hit enter again. It takes you back. Up, we have TPS. That's the percentage. That's your throttle position percentage. Then you got overdrive. It just shows off and on. You got TCC. It's off, obviously. Then it shows your gear, which it's weird. It shows second gear when you're in park, but it works. Then you calibrate your TPS. All this, you can go to the HGM Electronics if you're doing this. I will leave a link in the description to their complete installation manual, and it tells you how to do all of this stuff. But there, see, it says calibration good. Up to the next, overdrive minimum. I have it set for 40 mile an hour. I'm still have to mess with it a little bit. Overdrive wide open throttle. That at 62. That I have not messed with that at out on the street just because yet. Then we go to the lockup throttle position. I have it to where it locks at minimum throttle position. Then unlock. I have it at 100%. That way I can run it up almost to full throttle without it unlocking on me. Then we have, oh man, this thing keeps glaring. Then we have lock speed, 45 mile an hour. I had it at like 40, but it kept locking way too low. Wait, yeah. Then we have unlock speed, this is 42. Lock delay, that's I believe that is meaning the time between when it shifts into overdrive and when it locks. Lock gear, you can change this. I have it in overdrive right now. You can turn it the whole way down to where it locks in second gear. I'm just gonna leave it in fourth for now. Whoops. Then it shows your TPS voltage. Shows the lowest, shows the highest. Then TPS rev, speed adjustment, which is how many turns to 1 mile an hour. Then you have your units, which is English and metric. Then they have a factory default setting, and then you're back to your speed again. So it's very simple to use once you have used it a little bit. It's very simple. But like I said, I am going to get this thing mounted. Probably I was wanting to mount it, put me a little plate right over here where you can see this little tray thingy that was, or whatever it is missing. So I was gonna put a little piece of aluminum or something and just mount it there, but my wires are a little too short. And I'm gonna throw the truck up in the air right now and show you guys a little bit of it underneath. Okay, so down here underneath, let me grab a light real quick so you can see a little better. Underneath here, you can see I have my, don't worry about that wiring, that's not how it's going to be. It was late last evening. Yeah, it was late in the evening. This next day, or I can't even keep track. Was it? Yeah, but something. Okay, so here's the throttle or the speed sensor. That's the wires going to the up to the controller. Here is our old transmission controller plug. Or no, that's the speed sensor plug. Sorry. Here is the old transmission controller plug. We're going to wire up this speed sensor just so that we have speedometer in the dash. Then wires run up across over to here. It's muddy outside, so that's what's up with all the mud. So right there that is the third gear servo. You have to pull it has a plug sort of like that one right there in that port. Whoops. And you just have to pull that plug out, thread this sensor in there, and then hook that wire up to it. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this build. This trans build. I gotta redo some of these wires. We just filled it up with some cheap transmission fluid just for the first little bit, just a regular Napa ATF plus 4. We're going to put synthetic in it a little later, and then I am going to put a temperature sensor in the transmission. I just have it zip tied up there. The wires are kind of run. We're going to clean all this up. We're going to get the controller mounted in the cab and everything else cleaned up and get this all done. And I will show you guys that in my next video. Okay guys, so I got you in the truck here and I'm going to give you a little ride along, see if my camera won't fall over on me. I have it sitting on the tripod in the passenger seat, but it might be a little bumpy. So I'm going to take you out and show you how this thing shifts. It shifts really nicely compared to what it had. I really enjoy driving it. Yesterday after we got it done, I was out driving it for quite a bit, and it's a joy to drive. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit more the takeoff again. Just fast forward to that. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you guys if you are going to do a 47 swap in your own truck. I couldn't be happier. Honestly, I could not be happier. This is way better than I ever expected. I'm just super pumped. We're planning to be, hoping to be, at Siskiyou Diesel Performance's Siskiyou Diesel Fest in Medford, Oregon, June 2nd. We won't be there Sunday, we will be there Saturday, if everything works out. So yeah, if you're going to be there, look for the blue first gen. If you got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If you have any questions now, just hit me up on Instagram, drop them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer anyone's questions. So if it weren't for all the guys that have helped me with this, I wouldn't be near where I am now. One of the main guys that has helped me was a guy that works for, let me pull it up real quick here. His Instagram name is @StrictlySingleCummins. I'll put it up here on the screen for you guys. He works for FSR Diesel out of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm pretty sure it's out of Phoenix. So yeah, if it weren't for him, he helped me a lot with getting the shifting issue figured out. It was with the little kickdown piece there. So yeah, if you're doing this swap, that kickdown is very vital. I mean, you have to put the 518 one back on the 47 transmission. The 47 one will not work unless you shorten your cable or something. But yeah, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you with your build, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure it's right down here somewhere below the screen. There's a little bell notification. Hit that bell and it'll tell you every time it'll notify you every time I upload a new video. So we'll see you next time.